Hey guys, it's Tori. Welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So in today's video, we are going to sublimate a tumbler in a convection toaster oven. We're going to sublimate a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler. What you'll want to do is head on over to Canva. We're going to click on custom size. It defaults to pixel and we need to change it to inches. The dimensions for the tumbler that I'm using, and again, I'm using a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler, would be 8.6 by 9.6, and then create new design. The next step is to insert your image, and then we need to rotate the image. This needs to be able to wrap around the tumbler, and with it being portrait, it's longer and it'll be able to wrap around the tumbler versus if you just went straight across, the width is not long enough. Then we're going to go ahead and stretch it out. The next step that you would do is flip it, and then that's mirrored. And then we would go ahead and hit share and download this as a PDF print. But before I do that, I want to show you something. So let me just undo really quick what I did. If you are looking to personalize it and put a name on it, then I'm going to explain to you. If you do want to do a name, I want to show you something. So let's go ahead and we'll just rotate this back. So this was the original image, and let's go ahead and just insert a name. Okay, so let's say that I am doing Molly. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and add this. And let's just say it's going to go right there. Let's go ahead and select both and hit group. Now I'm going to turn it this way, rotate it, and do the exact same thing that I just did. And then we'll go ahead and hit flip. But pay attention to the name and what happens. So let's go ahead and do flip. If you see everything mirrored except the name. The way to do that, to get the name to mirror, is, let me tell you, before we do anything else, we would go to share, download, and download this as a PNG file. So I've already done that, but you'll just hit download, save it to the desktop, and then you'll go ahead and upload it. So let's go ahead and move this over. So this was the image that I did, and because it is an image, the name will flip because it is part of the image. So we're going to go ahead and do everything like we did before, and I rotated it, and then we're going to select flip, and now it's reversed. So if you want to do a name, that is how you do it. Next step would be to hit share, download, and we are going to select PDF print and download it to our desktop. Now we are ready to open the PDF file, and we're going to hit file, print, and we want to send it to the Sublimation printer. But very important, you need to have it the actual size. You don't want to do any custom scale or fit or anything like that. It needs to be the actual size. Then we're going to change the printer to the Epson ET2720, which is my Sublimation printer. And then we'll select properties. And you want to make sure that you have the correct paper using legal paper. And you want the plain type to be a premium quality paper. So I changed it to premium paper matte. And you also want the quality to be the best quality. So I changed it to high. You want to turn off collate or mirrored or high speed. All of those you want to uncheck. You do not need those because we just mirrored it and Cricut Design Space. Now we'll click on more options, advanced. For my color controls, I like to change the color mode to Adobe RGB and the Gamma 2.2, and then you'll just adjust the color controls below to your liking, and we'll hit OK, OK. And then we're going to go ahead and send it to print on the Sublimation printer. So the first thing we're going to do is grab the tumbler. This one comes with the Sublimation shrink wrap, so that's pretty cool. The next step you want to do is make sure that you clean it very well. Even though it looks like it's clean, once you sublimate, it's going to pull up any debris that you don't see, and it won't look very nice. So let's go ahead and open the other tumbler as well, and we'll clean them both at the same time. I am going to use rubbing alcohol to clean it. You can use rubbing alcohol, you can use a lint cleaner. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of put our hand in here and rotate it and make sure to get very thoroughly clean all over. And once you clean it, you want to try not to touch it, because you may have like oils or dirt or something on your hands that you don't see. So now we're going to dry it really well. If you'll notice, it looks a little faded. That's completely normal. If it's your first time sublimating, when it comes out, it will look faded, but once you heat it, it will darken. And that's just the way sublimation is. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to just cut the excess white off. And you want to make sure that this lines up and it's even. And I'm doing a little bit further down, just so I'd rather have a little pink underneath than to have a little gap. So just to be safe, I'm going to go up a little bit. All right. Then we are going to close this, and it should overlap. And I'm going to just make sure this lines up. Then you want to pull it super tight. Let me get that one off. Okay. And we're going to tape it. So I'm going to go all the way across. And again, I'm just pulling very tightly. And then this one I'm going to fold down like that. And we're going to just rotate this and do the exact same thing to this side. So I'm just folding this down. If you are new to sublimating, is sublimation tape. It's heat resistant. It's meant to be at the high temperature. So I have this kind of tape just like that, half on and half hanging over. And I'm just going to fold it over just like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. So I'm not done here yet because I want to reinforce it in there so I know it stays tight. But I'm going to flip it over and do this side as well. And then we'll rotate it back. So same thing, we're just gonna place it at the bottom. I like to tape mine, and I've heard that, I mean, like as far as taping the top and the bottom, I've had a couple comments where other people were able to sublimate it and not use as much tape. If that's your preference, you can do that as well. I haven't had, honestly, good luck with that. I could probably try it again and see if I can do it better, you know. But I don't know. I kind of am so used to just making sure it's all taped down. So this looks pretty good. So we're going to turn this back over. And if you see here, it's just kind of like that. So I like to tape it. I am going to, you do not have to do this. I like to tape it a little bit and then in the inside to keep this down, and it's just your preference. I like to go a little excess on the tape or a little overboard. So this one looks really good. All right, so I got the other one done. We're going to go ahead and use the Sublimation shrink wrap. We're going to open it, grab a tumbler, let's place it in, just place it down like that, and then pull it over. So we're just going to slide it in. So it'll be just like that. Before we shrink wrap it, let's go ahead and preheat the Convection toaster oven. And just a little information if you're new to sublimating, when you sublimate, it does have to be a Convection toaster oven, not a toaster oven. It has to be a Convection toaster oven. Once you sublimate in the Convection toaster oven, you cannot use it for food. So it needs to be specifically for sublimating. It can be dangerous to consume foods in there, so you don't want to do that. And also, if you are new to sublimating and you're not sure if it's something you're going to like, I would recommend, instead of investing a lot of money, to buy a sublimation convection oven. Or I actually got mine, this is my second one. I got it from like a Goodwill or a thrift store, and I started out with a smaller one. I don't remember what I paid. It was like under $10. I think it was $7.99 actually. And then I wanted a bigger one because I really like sublimating. So I bought another one there that was, I think, $15. 15. You cannot beat that. Especially if you're not sure you're going to like it and you don't want to invest a lot into it. I would totally recommend doing that. So let's go ahead and get the shrink wrapped, and we're going to go ahead and preheat the convection toaster oven. We're going to put it at 400 degrees, and you want to preheat it for at least 15 minutes. All right, so I'm using a heat gun, and we're just going to turn it on and melt the shrink wrap. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you'll see here that this is pretty tight, and you want that. What that does is it helps press the sublimation paper against the tumbler. So this one's good. Let me go ahead and do the next one. Okay, so both of these are done. If you see here, like this kind of melted, that's completely fine. And you may get that sometimes, you know, throughout here. As long as it's not super exposed, that is completely fine. Okay, so again, this has been preheating at 400 for 15 minutes because you want to preheat for at least 15 minutes. I have mine on convection bake, but I have had one that actually didn't say convection bake, but I know it was a convection toaster oven. So I just put it on bake, and I did everything the same, just in case yours is like that. You also need to wear heat resistant gloves because it is so hot. And we're going to go ahead and take parchment paper and place the parchment paper inside on the rack, because the sublimation shrink wrap will start to melt, and you don't want it to melt on the rack, on the wire rack. So let's go ahead and place this in here, and I'm going to place both tumblers inside, and we're going to sublimate this for 3 minutes on each side. I went ahead and set the timer for 3 minutes, and when that time is up, I'm just going to rotate the tumblers to the opposite side and sublimate for another 3 minutes, and then we're done. And I know this one I could probably pull the rack out and place the tumblers upright, and then I wouldn't have to rotate it. I haven't done that yet. I'm a little nervous because I know that the wire element is at the bottom, and it is just so close to the pan, like the drip pan, where I would place the parchment paper. So it just makes me a little nervous that it may overheat as far as the parchment paper. And then of course I want to have parchment paper under there. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it. So it's been 3 minutes. Again, make sure your heat resistant gloves are on. We're going to open it, and I'm just going to turn it the other way. Do the same with this. And 3 more minutes, and then we're done. Time's up, and let's go ahead and turn it off and take it out. And it is very, very hot, so you need to make sure that you have heat resistant gloves on, or you will burn yourself. Now, I heard you can do it either way. I like to do it when it's warm, and that's just my preference. If you want to do it when it's cold, you can do it when it's cold. But I am only familiar with it being warm. See how it sticks? So that's why you definitely don't want that on the wire rack with no parchment paper. So let's go ahead and start taking it off. Alrighty. Oh, sweet. Isn't that so adorable? That is awesome. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next one, and I won't bore you with doing that, so I'll be right back. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave a comment below, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.